Welcome back to Radio Static Productions for part 2 of our story, Pennies from Heaven, a William Nickels adventure. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Now on with our program. I have a funny feeling that I should take a drive downtown and have a look at Mr. Northcliffe's factory, or at least drive by it. Driving through that side of town was like driving down memory lane. 12 years ago, I was kicking around this area myself. 12 years can do a lot to a place that is neglected and forgotten about. Downtown Shady Lane was the place to be. Now the diner is gone, the bright lights, the smell of the food, the nice cars, having fun with friends and good music. The diner is just a parking lot now. There is some vegetation trying to take a hold and make it a little less unsightly. The factory is across the street from where I'm parked. Maybe it's because of the holidays, or maybe because it's the weekend. The factory is quiet. A few lights are on, and there are no cars in the parking lot out in front of it. The painted advertising on the brick wall is faded and chipping away. I can see an image of my younger self walking along the sidewalk in front of me. The vision was interrupted by a young voice that made me jump out of my socks.
Hey, mister, do you have a quarter?
Dang nabbit, Billy. That's how you get yourself killed. You need to be more attentive. You shouldn't sneak up on people like that.
Mister, are you okay in the braid? I asked you 3 times if you had a quarter, and all you did was look at something that isn't there.
Shouldn't a girl like you be in school?
Holiday break. We go back to school on Wednesday. I'm out looking for scrap. I live over there in that apartment building on the 2nd floor.
I'll give you a quarter if you can tell me something about that factory over there.
Mister, it's closed. Now where's my quarter?
You're a very street-smart girl. How old are you?
That, mister, will cost you a dime. My grandma told me if someone is snooping for information, charge them for it, or they can go out and figure it out for themselves. My grandma is gone now, though.
Here's your dime.
Just turned 11.
For another dime, can you tell me when the factory closed?
Sure. It closed the 2nd week of December. You're not from around here, are you, mister?
I used to be. I lived in a small apartment house over on 2nd, and I remember having hamburgers right here in this very spot, when this parking lot was a diner.
That place on 2nd burned down last winter. My grandma lived there. You should have paid me for that extra information.
For a dime, young lady. What do you know about that factory?
Thanks for the dime. I used to sweep the floors, clean the bathrooms there on the weekends and after school. My mom worked there painting furniture. I did odd jobs there just so Mom and the other ladies could keep an eye on me. She's a waitress at Puppy's Bar now. I can't go to work with her anymore. I will give you that little bit of information.
Well, thank you, young lady. Can I ask you your name, or will it cost me?
I don't know. Grandma told me to be careful who I make friends with. So, a quarter if you tell me yours first.
My name is William Nickels. I'm a private investigator. Here's my business card for proof. My address is right here, and my phone number. Do you know where that is? It's just 2 streets over from the bus station.
My name is Donna. I know where the bus station is. Good luck with whatever you're looking for, Gumshoe.
Off she ran and vanished in the vacant lots of the shades. So her mother now works at Puppy's. That is a rough and tumble place. She said nothing about a father. I can't believe it. An 11-year-old street-smart girl just suckered me out of 70 cents for information. I took one last look around. The image of my younger self faded. I got into my car and drove away. I drove back to the office, and when I got out of the car, Frank the vendor from across the street gave me a yell.
Hey, Billy, come over here. Get yourself a cup of coffee. On the house.
At a fast pace, I walked across the street. The wind was blowing. Not hard, but it chilled you to the bones.
Billy, a messenger boy was at your door earlier. I told him I would give you the message, and I gave him the tip that you gave me for the coffee yesterday.
Thank you, Frank. And here, have this for the coffee. And I'll have a cup of chili, too. So I took the message, the coffee, and the cup of chili, with the bunless hot dog that Frank had stuck in the chili, back to the office. I stacked my chili on top of my coffee and opened the door to the office and turned on the light. I sat in one of my new wooden chairs and pulled the other one close and used it for a makeshift table to set my meal and my coffee on. I opened the message and it read, Billy, I'm on assignment, can't call. The accident is suspicious. Mrs. Northcliffe and Mr. Baker. From Detective Eddie. Well, thank you, Detective Eddie. Now I'm confused. Who is Mr. Baker? I now have more questions than answers. 1 and 2 are adding up to 5. The clock ticks away and the street lamp outside clicks on as I eat my supper at the office. It's Monday morning, January 5th, and Mr. Northcliffe will be getting his call tomorrow night, and I am no closer to his daughter than I was when I started. Wait, I have a token for a free ride. I will have Mr. Northcliffe's driver come over and pick me up and take me out to the manor again for a look. And I can chat with him in the car on the ride there and during the ride back. I'm going to give him a call. Is this the Northcliffe residence? This is William Nickels. I need a ride to the manor as soon as possible. Thank you. That will be perfect. I finished my breakfast and coffee and wrote down a few notes in the case file and some of the recent accumulated expenses. I got lost in thought about being on that side of town again when I heard, Mr. Nickels, I'm Winston, your driver. Winston, sorry. I didn't hear you. Can you have a seat?
No, Mr. Nickels. I cannot leave the car attended for that long.
That's fine, Winston. Let me grab my coat, and I'll follow you out. Winston drove to the manor, and later back to the office. The manor had been empty. Anything that was not nailed down was gone. The house had a booming echo when we talked. The maid had given me a few boxes of Penelope's personal belongings that Winston and the butler took out to the car. I was looking at my notes. The maid had said, if you find Penelope, those boxes have items that I was able to save from being sold. For the 3 of them, this was their last day of working at the manor. The butler had said that there was 7 staff members working until that accident in December with Mrs. Northcliffe and Mr. Baker, who was the son-in-law. Mr. Northcliffe has not been around much lately, even before Penelope's abduction or the accident. I gave all 3 of them my card, told them to call me if they remember anything else. I asked them about the factory downtown. The three of them honestly said, "Rumor has it there were some issues of some sort." The butler had said, "Nothing fancy about the factory was to be discussed in the manor, on the grounds, or in front of the staff." Winston had commented that all the factory business was done at the private factory office. There's a door on the right-hand side of the building, if you go down the alleyway. Winston had said he had never went inside, just picked up people and dropped them off. With all the trouble going on at the manor, all three of them were more than happy to be retiring. Jokingly, I couldn't even convince them to come to work for me. I promised I would call each of them when I find out more about Penelope before they saw it in the news. It is said that stress and a bad job situation will make you age faster. When Winston dropped me off, you would swear he looked 10 years younger. He moved with a bit more grace, and he had a smile. It was a happy retirement for him indeed. I was sitting, thinking and writing at my desk. Do I call Detective Eddie? Give him the information I have, or will that possibly harm Penelope before I have a chance to find her? Do I tell him about the factory and the hidden office? Wait a minute. Donna. The dark of the evening would soon be cloaking the streets, and the overcast sky made it seem colder and more melancholy than it was. I ran to my car, jumped in, and drove downtown again to the shades. I parked near the apartment where Donna said she lived. There was a group of kids playing street hockey out in front. Donna waved at me from her goalie's position as I pulled up. I stepped out of the vehicle.
What's going on now, Gumshoe? It's getting dark out.
Donna, how much will it cost me for an answer to this question? Did you ever clean inside the private factory office?
Cost you a nickel.
Here you go.
Yes, I did.
I gave her a look of disappointment.
Fine, Gumshoe. Because you're a cool cat and everything, I did clean the office. If it's the office that you might be thinking about, there's only one door in and out of it, and it's in the alley, sort of hidden in all the garbage and stuff. It's nice in there. I've even had to vacuum. It has carpeting. I cleaned up after their meetings.
Donna, can you show me where the office door is?
That, Gumshoe, will cost you $1, 'cause there's an old geezer hanging around there lately.
It's a deal. Donna ran over to another girl, maybe a bit older than herself. They did this whispering thing back and forth between the two of them, the other girl giving me a scowl the whole time. Donna and the other girl walked over.
This is Susie. She will be our lookout, but you owe her a game of street hockey. Is it still a deal?
It's still a deal. We walked across the street, through the parking lot, and picking our way around all the clutter in the alley, Donna showed me where the door was. It had a shiny new lock on it. I tapped on the door. There was a quiet voice of a woman inside.
Hello? Is someone there? If so, help me, please. Please, I'm being held captive. My name is Penelope Baker.
I'm going to get you out. I need to get something to break this lock.
Hey, Dee, someone's coming.
Donna, now listen. It's important. You need to call the cops. Do you know the number?
Yes.
Tell them that Billy Nichols is in trouble and needs Detective Eddie at the Northcliffe factory in Shady Lane, and to hurry. Donna and Susie ran off. I crouched behind some wooden pallets and boxes. In the bad lighting, I watched a figure walk down the alley towards the door. The figure unlocked the door, and from the dim light of the open door, I could see it was Mr. Northcliffe. He entered the office and closed the door. Crouched there, I wondered what my next move would be. I listened. I heard Mr. Northcliffe yell, "Sign these papers." I heard Penelope say in a stern voice, "No, she wouldn't." Mr. Northcliffe said that she can just stay locked in there until she does. A moment later, Mr. Northcliffe stomped out, locked the door, and left. I heard a noise behind me and thinking to myself, "Billy, you just messed up." And that concludes part 2 of our story. We would love to hear your ideas on how to improve the channel by leaving them in the comments. Be sure to tune in again next week for the conclusion to this story. Remember to subscribe to the channel, share, and leave a big thumbs up. Thank you all again for your support.